All right, Big Matt, we are at episode 7 live with MPA, the inside scoop, and the series doing great, man. Everybody's excited, asking you a lot of questions, and I'm so happy for people. They're actually thanking you and thanking us for doing those shows, and I'm so excited about it. That's great. You have a special show today, and I'm really excited about it. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so with contest season coming up, people are dieting for spring and summer. I think it's important that people have variety, and so I'm such a stickler with nutrition. Like whenever you're dieting for like a show or something or getting leaner, and you get like one day a week where you get a carb up or a refeed, instead of eating like a bunch of baked potatoes, rice, and yams, you try to keep the fat low, right? Most people do. They don't want a full-on cheat. I don't recommend full-on cheats. I just want carbs. So I made a low-fat pizza that I think I've done a good job with. We're going to show you how to make that. And I'll take you through the process and tell you what ingredients, the brands, and all that stuff. And I think it's a really good outlet for pre-contest because you can actually look forward to something. And let's face it, like to a normal person, a fat-free pizza or near fat-free, it's almost fat-free, probably won't taste that amazing, right? Because they're used to junk food. But a pre-contest bodybuilding or a bodybuilder that's dieting hard, it's going to taste like a dream. So I think you guys will really like it.
Awesome.
So we're going to show you step by step
How to do it. Very cool.
All right, guys, so this is the crust that I use. I find it at Whole Foods. I think it's also at Sprouts Market too. Reason being this crust, because it's 0.5 grams of fat for a serving. So that's super low. That's lower than BOBOLI or anything else that I can find. So we're gonna use this crust and get it prepared here. Now next would be your marinara sauce, right? So you can't just get any spaghetti sauce or pasta sauce because if you actually look at the label, a lot of them infuse it with olive oil and fats. But the BOBOLI, the squeeze packets, are actually 0 fat. So this is acceptable. And then, of course, at Whole Foods, they have a fat-free marinara. So either of these work. So we're going to go with that.
How long did it take you to get all these ingredients to put to find them all?
Oh my gosh! I mean, I've been dieting and doing shows for so many years that like I
You know all the
have so many creative things, and I do want to point out that like some people mentally can't do this even because some people have a propensity to cheat, right? So I've had clients to where I give them kind of cute little customized stuff like this to carb up on, and their mind, once they get a little taste of something different from potatoes and rice, they go on a binge. So some people mentally have to stick to potatoes, yams, rice, and they just can't even get creative or cute, like I call it.
That's opened the Pandora's box.
It kind of just lets it go, right? Even though it's healthy and it's lower fat, just this variety like overwhelms their brain. So if you're that type of person, you just can't get it together, stick to your jasmine rice and your bagels and all that basic stuff that you're already used to.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we're gonna put on some marinara here. I'm gonna go with the Whole Food brand today, and it's plain.
Are you going to eat that tonight when it's ready?
Well, I will now, yeah. I'm not gonna let it go to waste. And guys, I'm off season, so like this is still decent to me, but I can eat regular pizza right now, but I'll still eat this. I'm not gonna let it go to waste.
And what kind of pizza do you eat when you eat regular pizza? Just curious.
You know, recently we've been experimenting. There's so many different places in Vegas. Rosati's is across the street. There's a few others we look on Yelp. Just go for it. All right, so next, very important, the cheese component. Now, maybe not everyone has access to a Sprouts, or maybe some of the Whole Foods in different states don't have the exact cheese that I use, but I use a fat-free cheese. And I use, shown it before, the Lifetime fat-free. This is jalapeno jack, but I also have cheddar here and mozzarella. I just want to show you the actual package. Now, if you guys can't find this brand, which I love, you can usually always find the shredded Lucerne brand or whatever Kraft that's fat-free. The only problem with this stuff is that it's more dry and kind of rubbery. This stuff actually is like pliable. It's like soft and moist. Tastes really good. So we'll do the cheese. And it actually grinds through the cheese grater perfectly. And like I said, it's just the texture is so much better. So we can get fancy here. And we'll do a little bit of the white cheese here.
Who cooks in this house? Is it you or Rachel?
Okay. She's actually been cooking dinner now for the off season.
Because you're a pretty good cook.
There's food in the corner.
Yeah. So
chicken in the corner cooking for dinner.
Since I've been more lenient lately and actually more of a normal person, I've been having more fats in my diets and free meals.
Yeah.
She's been basically cooking every night for off season.
Nice.
So as you see, here's a nice little blend of cheese, the yellow and the white.
And you don't really calculate how much. You just.
I don't, man, because.
Would you recommend people to do it?
Well, sure. I mean, if whoever your coach is, or if you're doing your own prep, you're going to keep track of obviously all
macro
nutrients. Yeah. But what I do keep track of is the carb count. So you're going to know the crust, how much is in the total crust. The cheese, honestly, being fat free, it's just protein.
Yeah.
So there's the blend of cheese. Now we're going to add some more meat to it. Now, if you're super pre-contest trying to keep the fat as low as possible, you might want to use something like a 98% lean ground chicken breast or turkey. So this is air chilled, organic from Whole Foods. I actually have some game meat, some venison, already cooked. And what I'm just going to do here is, this is very lean too. Probably like 4%.
Beef?
Well, venison.
What's venison?
I think it's deer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I do elk sometimes too.
Do you ever do buffalo?
I do.
Yeah. It's a little higher on fat though, right?
It can be because I usually cut it with beef fat to make it more pliable and adhesive. But if you can actually find it straight pure, it's super lean buffalo.
Yeah. Okay.
Ostrich is lean too.
Back in Canada, we used to eat horse.
You know
Horse
what?
meat. It's
Yeah.
so high in protein.
People in
It's
France
so lean.
too,
Yeah.
France. Yeah.
It's so good. People freak when you tell them that.
Yeah,
here,
my old training partner Moose, they used to do horse meat in France.
Yeah.
Maybe Morocco too.
Yeah.
So here we go. So there's your starting point. Now we're gonna, you should have set the oven to about 325 to 350. And I'm gonna set it straight on the rack because I like the crust to get crispy. I don't like stupid floppy,
Yeah.
soggy crust. Let's open this first.
It smells so good already.
I'm telling you, man, pre-contest dieting bodybuilders, this is a savior. I'm doing all I can to help you guys here.
Yeah.
We're just gonna plop that in.
I bet this gets a lot of hits.
Okay.
Sizzle.
Now, we're probably gonna leave it in like 8 to 12 minutes, but be smart and check on it visually over and over again just to make sure you see the cheese melted, you see the crust browning.
Awesome.
And so we're gonna come back and show you the finished product.
All right, Big Matt, do you have some Q&A for us?
Some Q&A going, guys. So let's pull up some questions here. Okay, let's see here. Train hard, live out loud. Asks, I'm sure this has been asked a million times over. BCAAs or EAAs, and are they really necessary to buy? Well, I do make farm grade, so of course I'm going to recommend essential amino acids. So are they necessary to buy? I don't want to say they're necessary to buy because if you're eating a well-balanced diet with protein feedings every 3 to 4 hours of whole protein sources or complete amino acid profiles like beef, chicken, eggs, yogurt, etc., you're getting a steady stream of essential amino acids, so a constant flux. But if you're dieting rigorously and you're depleting yourself of glucose, amino acids, you're breaking down muscle potentially, they're definitely vital in my opinion. So definitely during dieting phases, I think when you're more catabolic, I would invest in something like an EAA. BCAAs in my opinion are just inferior. It's 3 out of the 9 essentials. And from my understanding, I think BCAAs, if you have BCAAs, let's say fasted, you're missing the other 6. So it has to pull it from somewhere. So it could pull the other 6 from vital muscle tissue, or if you had a meal prior, which you shouldn't fast it would pull it from the floating amino acids from the last meal to complete that. So if you're doing it fast, I think BCAAs is just an expensive flavored water. So I'd rather go buy Mio or Crystal Light or something cheaper than to have an expensive flavored water. So EAAs, if you have to choose it. And once again, I'm not going to say it's mandatory, but I think dieting essential amino acids are a great tool to have.
What's yours called?
I have farm grade EAA, and farm grade platinum. The platinum has phosphatidic acid included, which is a phospholipid that's been shown to increase mTOR stimulation, so protein synthetic response, enhance strength recovery, so it coincides with the EAAs perfectly.
Why did you make 2 different
Because
products?
it's more expensive and some people are cheaper and they don't want the phosphatidic acid. So I have the farm grade EAAs just alone, and then I have it with the PA.
I see.
But keep in mind, my amino acids are Ajinomoto, so they're pharmaceutical grade.
Okay. I have heard that, just like you said, branched chain amino acid by themselves not so great, but if you mix them with the EA, much better.
Well, the EAAs have the BCAAs within them.
And they have enough?
Well, for sure, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yep.
you don't have to buy the 2 then?
Yeah, my BCAA ratio is actually very high in my EAAs.
Okay.
But everything, I have a 13 gram dose.
I
Certainly.
see. Gotcha.
So, yeah, guys, I just think that, a lot of people, they're like, oh, I want BCAAs and put it in my gallon of water or whatever. It's like, that's a really expensive flavored water.
Yeah.
I would do EAAs, and honestly, I recommended EAAs in pre-contest when you're catabolic, but you can use it in the off-season too, because it's like, let's say, okay, you are eating good, but why not, what if I gave you a 1% benefit to gain muscle? Well, as bodybuilders, we're obsessive. We want the 1%.
Yeah.
So if it does help with recovery even more than food alone, why not?
Awesome.
All
right, thanks, Big Mike. All right, Big Mike, what else you got?
JC Bodybuilding, J_C, says, would Primo be a decent swap out for tren acetate, enanthate, or hex if one simply did not want to use tren in a contest prep? What doses of Primo would be considered most effective? I would say it is a decent swap out. They're totally different, right? Tren is just the mothership, the mother loads of all hormones, in my opinion. But Primo is very interesting, and I can actually firsthand tell you that I noticed a difference because I recently, whenever I came off everything and did my TRT, I ran a Primobolan experiment over the TRT. I did 500 milligrams a week, and then my TRT was just stapled. And I tell you what, man, within, I think, week 2, I started noticing water dissipate. So my skin got thinner, as far as no subcutaneous water retention. My face got leaner, more hollowed out. I started getting a cosmetic look that was very noticeable. So I wasn't as full. I don't think Primobolan's a really good agent for keeping your muscle bellies full and glycogen load and all that stuff. But the cosmetic effect it had on keeping you really dry. And the funny thing is I did blood work while I was on Primo at the 500 milligrams a week. And so with my testosterone, my TRT at 200 milligrams, Primo at 500, it put my estrogen, my estradiol, down to non-detectable. So it had an anti-aromatase effect, like a serious one, like I was running like Letro.
Wow.
So it actually made my estrogen too low to where I had like sore joints, my libido was non-existent, but I was so dry and like my face was so gaunt and like I looked like I was running like a diuretic.
Wow.
So I think Primobolan, now I just did it with TRT. I'm sure if you stacked it with like a higher dose of testosterone and Masteron, all that other good stuff, I think it's a wonderful product and it could definitely replace a Tren, but I'm not going to say that it's similar to Tren because Tren's just so powerful.
Yeah.
Tren, you can grow on it, you can do it off season, pre-contest.
You get strong,
You can get bigger and leaner on it. People are more liberal to eat whatever they want on it for some people.
But I heard Primo was very safe also, right?
It's relatively safe. I mean, I did my blood work and my HDL was naturally low because my estrogen was crushed. So HDL was, a little lower. Liver enzymes, kidney measures, all that stuff was fine. Blood pressure was low because I was so dry.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's relatively safe. So it's a great product, but the thing is you got to make sure it's real because it's such an exotic compound.
Yeah.
It's highly faked and
it's
hard to really know if it's real unless you send it out to like some lab to do like a mass spectrometry, HPC, LC, and all that stuff. Yeah. So, I was fortunate enough to have like from a Turkey pharmacy, the Bayer Rimabolan, the actual amps. Wow. So I knew they were good, and like I could just tell with blood work, right, with the estrogen. Yeah. So I think it's a great product, but you could definitely do a prep without it, without Tren.
Awesome. Thank you. One more question before we check out the pizza.
All right. It's a name I can't even pronounce. Delio Glau. Who knows? Okay. If you were to do it all over again, but gaining as much muscle as possible, but with health first and foremost, what kind of cycles would you do as far as dosages and compounds? So if I were to do, well, I basically am trying to do it all over again with health first and foremost in mind. So basically, I think for off season, which is what I'm trying to do now, the bioidentical hormone testosterone, which is what you naturally produce, I think that's really safest. People say Primo's safest, Anavar. Anavar's hard on your lipids, it's hard on your liver. Primobolan, like I said, I think it'll bring your HDL down, your cholesterol. I think testosterone, so far I've done blood work on 350 a week, and my blood work was really healthy. For some reason my blood work was healthier on 350 a week than 200. Kind of weird. I just slowly bumped it up, now I'm at 500, so I'm going to do blood work on that. So I think what my approach is, what I believe and hypothesize will be the healthiest, will be monitoring your testosterone levels and trying to bump it up and see what that threshold is as far as what dose you can run it high at, but also keep health parameters in check, namely kidneys and your heart function. Those are the two most important. If you can gradually raise your testosterone and you're healthy doing it, maybe that'll be 600, maybe you're healthy at 900, maybe you can run a gram and be healthy, who knows. I think that's a good approach. Now pre-contest, that'll be a little different. So that's something that I'm gonna have to delve into eventually if I want to try to diet again. Then I'll experiment with things one at a time. So I'll have my testosterone as a base, and if I'm healthy on that, I'll add in one little thing to stack with it, and I'll monitor my blood. One little thing, monitor my blood. And I'm not going to start from a whopping dose. It'll be, hypothetically, let's say my testosterone's at 750 a week. I might add in Primobolan at 400. Because I've already done 500, it was good, but it was never with a high test. So I might try 400, see what I do as far as blood work, and go by that, And same with, it's so funny, people are so unique with how they respond to hormones. Like, tren for some people is like a killer, right? So tren makes people not sleep. It makes people anxiety-ridden, rage.
I think it's the pizza rage.
Probably is.
Pizza's ready, yay! All right. But so the key is, and I'm sure very few people do that, the key is testing.
It's
testing with the blood, because there's no way to know. You can't give someone your honest
but
opinion.
Everyone's unique too. Like I said, with trends, some people have bad side effects from it.
Yeah.
Some people are fine. Like I was always really even keel on it. I didn't really have like bad night sweats.
Yeah.
So I never really related to people that were like, oh, it's like I can't do it, man. I go crazy on it.
Yeah.
So trend on one person might not affect them negatively, even on blood work, while the other person can be sensitive.
Yeah.
So it's really like a slow process thing. So
yeah,
like I said, testosterone in the off season. That's not to say you can't stack other things and still be healthy. I just think what's naturally what you produce bioidentically, I think that's the healthiest route to go. And maximize testosterone, add in growth hormone. If you can't grow on 500, 700, 1,000 milligrams of testosterone a week with a lot of good food and hardcore training, come on,
Maybe bodybuilding isn't for you.
Yeah, maybe not.
All right, thank you for that. Ah, it smells good.
The low-fat pizza, man. Pre-contest pizza. See, actually, maybe we'll do
We
this.
just need to branch out to other.
Shaboom. Hold on, let me close that. There we go, guys.
Yum.
Yeah.
You can't smell it through the camera, but it smells really good.
Listen, so pre-contest, a dieting, starving bodybuilder that's been used to tilapia and broccoli.
Right.
You get a carb up. What I would do with people, because this really isn't that many carbs. I don't think if you do the math, it's like 100 grams or what? 26. Yeah, it's like 125 grams or something like that. Let's say your refeed on a Sunday or Saturday is like 800 grams. This is just like one meal.
I know.
Right? And you get all in there, but then the prior meals, don't get it twisted. I'd have you eat your normal potatoes and rice. This would be like the only fun meal.
Yeah.
Something to look forward to. But,
So you believe in clean cheat days and clean refeed? Because a lot of time people
this is my thing. So my priority whenever I'm doing a refeed or a carb up is to replenish glycogen, right? We don't really lose a lot. We have intramuscular triglycerides that marble the muscle. That's a small fraction, small percentage that could load your muscles and make you full, right? So really my primary concern is getting glucose to go into glycogen inside the muscle. So I don't really want fat high at all. Fat's a cheat. Fat's not really going to do me any service. I want glucose carbs. I want to stimulate the thyroid. Thyroid's dependent on carbs, T4 and T3. Fat doesn't really serve a purpose. Now, if the athlete was a freak and was like ahead of schedule, like contest ready, like 4 weeks out, and his fat reserves were low and he's like peeled, shredded glutes, full on cheat, right? No problem. He can afford it. It'll probably do him good. But if you're a normal human being that just comes down on time, carbs.
There you go.
I try to keep the fat going.
I'm glad you brought this up.
Yeah,
because I think a lot of people have misconception about refeed or cheat day.
Yeah, I mean, you can do it. Some people do fine with cheats. I mean, they go maybe a half step back and they make it up during the week. But I just don't see a benefit if you're still not peeled to have a bunch of fats like Five Guys and Domino's and full fat. It just doesn't really serve a purpose in my brain. So.
Good. All right. Thanks, Big Matt.
Yes.